royalty. Recognize it, recognize royalty. Gotta recognize it, recognize royalty. Like they ain't got eyes to recognize royalty.
I can feel,
recognize royalty.
I can see,
recognize royalty.
now I recognize
royalty.
Royal to these eyes.
Royalty.
I can see,
recognize royalty.
I can love
Recognize
again.
royalty.
Now I
recognize it.
royalty,
I recognize
royalty.
passion. Never just the man with the title in his hand, with the vital in his hand, with the Bible in his hand. You never just the man with the scepter in demand, with the lecture in the stand, with the vector and the candle. Can you understand the grand from the texture of the hand? Hard at work, are you hard at work? Working with the man, oh, kiss the ring of royalty. Crown him king, just a thing, letting loyalty ring. Bring frankincense and myrrh and other things. As gold already blings from the highest that prizes no sins. Recognize the kings overruling commandments with the Trinity and the power it brings. When you recognize royalty, I feel it,
I can see,
yeah I see it.
now
I recognize now
royal to these eyes.
royalty.
I can see,
I see it.
I can love again.
Now I'm in love now. I recognize your passion.
Royalty.
Recognize royalty. Sunrise royally. Sitting on top of the world. I'm five morally. Status of a king for surely. Morally, we pop dumb things till we stop the impurity. We pop them just for recognition. Listen to the missionary on a mission with the visionary vision. Do you recognize intuition? I reel in men when I went out fishing. I'll tell you why they rocked the boat. Cause they didn't understand what the prophet wrote. What's the conniption? Choose the Jews' crucifixion and refuse recognition at son child's christening. In the mix, some and some insist they fix the system from malarkey back to my monarchy. Yeah, back above me. Don't soil my purple and blue, and I will recognize your royalty too.
I can feel you.
I feel it.
I can see you.
I can see it.
Now I
recognize now
royal to these eyes.
your royalty.
I can see you.
I see it.
I can love again.
And I'm in love now.
Now
I recognize your passion.
royalty.
Royalty. Recognize royalty. Gotta recognize it. Recognize royalty. Like they ain't got eyes to recognize royalty.
I can feel.
Recognize royalty.
I can see.
Recognize royalty.
Now I recognize
royalty.
Royal to these eyes.
Royalty.
I can see.
Recognize royalty.
I can love
Recognize royalty.
Now I
recognize it.
Royalty.
I recognize passion. Never just the man with the title in his hand, with the vital in his hand, with the Bible in his hand. You never just the man with the scepter in demand, with the lecture in the stand, with the vector and the candle. Can you understand the grand from the texture of the hand? Hard at work, are you hard at work? Working with the man, oh, kiss the ring of royalty. Crown him king, just a thing, letting loyalty ring. Bring frankincense and myrrh and other things. As gold already blings from the highest that prizes no sins. Recognize the kings overruling commandments with the Trinity and the power it brings. When you recognize royalty, I feel it.
I can see.
Yeah, I see it. I recognize now royalty.
I can see.
I see it.
I can love again.
Now I'm in love now. I recognize your passion. sunrise royally. Sitting on top of the world, I'm five morally. Status of a king for surely. Orally, we pop dumb things till we stop the impurity. We pop them just for recognition. Listen to the missionary on a mission with the visionary vision. Do you recognize intuition? I reel in men when I went out fishing. I'll tell you why they rocked the boat. Cause they didn't understand what the prophet wrote. What's the conniption? Choose the Jews' crucifixion and refuse recognition at son child's christening. In the mix, some in some. Insist they fix the system from malarkey. Back to my monarchy, yeah, back above me. Don't soil my purple and blue, and I will recognize your royalty too.
I can feel you.
I feel it.
I can see you.
I can see it.
Now
I recognize now.
Royal to these eyes.
Your royalty.
I can see you.
I see it.
I can love again.
And I'm in love now.
Now
I recognize your passion.
Royalty.
Royalty. Recognizing kings, overruling commandments with the Trinity and the power it brings when you recognize royalty. I feel it. Yeah, I see it. I recognize now. Royalty. I see it. Now I'm in love now. I recognize your passion. Recognize royalty, sunrise royally. Sitting on top of the world, I'm five morally. Status of a king for surely. Orally, we pop dumb things till we stop the impurity. We pop them just for recognition. Listen to the missionary on a mission with the visionary vision. Do you recognize intuition? I reel in men when I went out fishing. I'll tell you why they rocked the boat. Cause they didn't understand what the prophet wrote. What's the conniption? Choose the Jews' crucifixion and refuse recognition at son child's christening. In the mix, some in some. Insist they fix the system from malarkey. Back to my monarchy, yeah, back above me. Don't soil my purple and blue, and I will recognize your royalty too.
I can feel you.
I feel it.
I can see you.
I can see it. I recognize now.
Royal to these eyes.
Your royalty.
I can see you.
I see it.
I can love again.
And I'm in love now. I recognize your passion.
Royalty.
Royalty. Gotta recognize it, recognize royalty. Like they ain't got eyes to recognize royalty.
I can feel.
Recognize royalty.
I can see.
Recognize royalty.
Now I recognize
Royalty.
royalty's eyes.
Royalty.
I can see.
Recognize royalty.
I can love.
Recognize royalty.
Hey, what's happening, people? What's goody? Yo, we here. It's a lovely Saturday afternoon, and we up in here. You heard. I just wanted to talk today about a couple of things that I heard over the this couple of clips I saw over the past couple of days that I wanted to share. I thought it was quite interesting. I wanted to share that with y'all and just talk about that. Just the whole idea of how the FBA leader that they claim ain't their leader, had some strong words, had some choice words rather about, black people. And it makes sense that he seems to think black people are foundational to pretty much every civilization that existed, and especially the civilizations that that are worth something. Like the FBA leader doesn't just stop and think that black people built America. Like, that's the interesting part. Like, the FBA, Tariq doesn't just think that black people built America. FBA people think they built Europe. They built everywhere. Egypt, Phoenicia. Like, I'm like, wow, the Moors, they're Abos, like, they are FBA people think they're everywhere. They're the original Hebrews, and that's just interesting. So it doesn't surprise me that we are now going through the FBA, Foundational Black American stage, where since they're taking credit for every civilization of value, and so it doesn't surprise me at all that they now come to claim America, that they built America. They're at least they're being consistent. At least they're being consistent, and that's what I want to talk about tonight. Because I think that's very interesting. That just that whole idea. But before I get into that, man, I saw something else that was even more interesting to me. Not so much interesting as funny, though. And let me share my screen for this one here. Let me share my screen because I thought this was just hilarious. I thought this was quite funny. Yeah, this was I was checking out this show yesterday, and just this behavior right here, I was like, wow, the Trump derangement is massive. Like, it's ridiculous how high the Trump derangement is in this type of behavior. But check it out, I found this funny.
The nukes is on the table.
Great, Trump is crazy like that, dog. He don't stop. He really is nonstop action, bro. It's almost comical if it wasn't so dangerous. He really is. You know what I'm saying? But he really is.
They didn't let his kid in the White House. Yo.
Yeah,
Like,
bro.
that's how I feel. Like, y'all didn't let
crazy
kids in the White House, yo. A brat teenager who that is this thing. Like, yo, he just talking tough, just doing anything. Like, oh man, like I Branston them, man. They just disappointing, yo, because they won't even say, yeah, we fucked up. I mean, we fucked up a little bit. It was fun. You know what I mean? Just doing it to get niggas agitated. But yeah, we kind of fucked up with that one. That's crazy. That's all. Like what? And that's for all y'all. Even you, because when y'all sat there and try to act like y'all couldn't see that man did a Nazi salute. Y'all said that it could be what?
James, you gotta leave and come back. I mean, I
don't like them.
Oh yeah, let me do a fair use disclaimer. By the way, fair use. I think I should do a fair use. You know what I mean? This is just for educational purposes. I'm trying to educate. You heard, and kind of scrutinize and check out these points and kind of learn from them. So fair use of this video.
Some type games.
I actually don't think it was important. I don't think it was that important that there was a lot of us.
It don't have to be important, but like if we're gonna have real conversations up here, yo, I pour my heart out up this bitch, yo, and y'all will sit there and watch yo do that and say no, it wasn't.
Yo, Shafreen got extra hand movement today. I think he wanted us to see his gloves. I was with the extra. Yo, he's extra animated today, boy. This Shafreen. Yo, he is so animated.
For what reason would you possibly?
Sometimes you got to protect people from themselves, Chef. Sometimes you got to do that. That's the thing. That's the thing. You wanting to make a big fuss about Elon Musk doing the high sig.
And the funny thing is, like these guys, the funny thing is they have no idea why people would vote for Trump, right? But the only reason they voted for Kamala is because she's black. The only reason they vote, especially Schaefer, and I'm sure that's probably true of your boy Logic as well. The only reason that they voted for Kamala is because she's black. Like someone who, if the only reason you're voting for someone is because they're black, like you just shut your mouth. And how are you going to question someone else's reason for voting for anyone? Your reason is the worst reason ever. She's black, so I voted for her. But you don't understand why someone else would vote the way they vote? Just be quiet, bro. No, seriously, just be quiet.
At a Trump rally, whatever, is nowhere near as important.
That was the inauguration.
The inauguration, which is even more crazy. Definitely way more crazy than the rally.
In front of the presidential seal of the United States. Y'all can't brush that off.
As crazy as that is, it's nowhere near as crazy as the damn executive order. It's nowhere near.
It's not. But he did that the day before. He did.
Wait, when he said the executive orders are more crazy than the Nazi salute, is he saying that the executive orders are more Nazi-ish? Surely that's not what this man is saying. Because I'd love to hear which one of them orders he thinks is what's so crazy about the orders. The orders aren't anything other than what he said he was going to do. Right? And the orders are what he said he was going to do. And the reason he was voted in is because of what he said he was going to do. So I'm trying to like follow along, and I'm like, what's so crazy about these orders again? What exactly is so nutsy about these orders?
Did that the day before he did all that, and y'all couldn't even say, oh, this shit crazy. It was already crazy the day before.
I'm trying to defend this nigga. Elon Musk doing the high sig at the presidential inauguration, dog. This is crazy.
Like, why would we do that?
I don't know how crazy. I don't even know how it gets that crazy, but it did.
That's what I'm saying. But then when y'all take aim at FBA, I be like, hold on. If y'all can't acknowledge.
So let me ask you, so which is worse? Elon doing the Nazi salute at the inauguration, or the Black National Anthem at the Super Bowl? Which is really worse? Who out there is boycotting the Super Bowl? And there's a whole boycott of the Super Bowl because of the Black national anthem. Yeah, I would prefer the Super Bowl without the Black national anthem 100%. I think that's crazy. For what? Like, I think that idea, the idea of having a Black national anthem at the Super Bowl, is way more divisive than whatever that was that Elon Musk did. The Black national anthem at the Super Bowl is way more divisive than what Elon Musk did, than that so-called Nazi salute. But one thing I know for a fact, Schaefrine and Logic are both going to stand and salute for the Black national anthem. They are. But here they are talking about some so-called Nazi salute. We know it's not a so-called Black national anthem. I was having a Black national anthem. A national anthem for who? If it's black, it can't be national. That's stupid. And that's way more divisive. But y'all are down with that. Y'all need to be quiet and hush y'all mouths. Seriously.
College this. Like this is the blatant shit right here. I get
Look, this is what I mean by sometimes you got to protect people from themselves.
Yo, he's way more animated since he put them gloves on. I think them gloves, them fingerless gloves, gave Schaefrine some superpowers. This boy is animated tonight.
That high sig is not a direct threat towards me, and if it is a threat towards me, it ain't just me. And whatever attempt of a threat that is to me, my ability to stop it as I sit is probably very small. Now, with that being said, we could have our ability to at least be able to follow the aftermath of these executive orders and potentially learn that we really need to have governors, or not say governors, but in this particular instance, congressmen who really support our particular ideas. I think that that's much more of something. So yeah, you would get me there, right? I am at that point cherry picking what I'm deciding. Me personally is more
to put your energy in.
Yeah, what I
But
think.
you ain't even got to scream and fight like me, but it's just the acknowledgement. It's just the acknowledgement that he actually did that. I don't care. You don't have to. I got agitated. I got while my voice goes up, right, and my blood pressure go up, is when a nigga say that ain't what just happened. Like no, bro, we ain't going. You feel me? If I gotta take your argument serious on other things, yo, you got to be 100 on simple shit, yo. You feel me? Like, that's like if I give you basic adding and subtraction, right? And you fuck that up, bro, I'm not giving you no algebra equations. It's no point. Why would I take you serious there? You dig what I'm saying? If you show me that you can't even get basic adding and subtraction together, it's no point in me taking you serious. You feel me? So when y'all say y'all can't even acknowledge that was that, but now y'all want to start talking about complex shit. Why am I gonna listen to you about the complex shit when y'all can't even acknowledge the simple shit?
That was the high sig. Okay, you
like, come on, bro.
I get that.
Y'all want to move on to the next subject, right? Without acknowledging. Now I understand why Brass and them do it, because you gotta protect your vote in Trump. It can't be as bad as this, for real, right? I get it coming from Brass and Chief X and them side, because it's cognitive dissonance. They really voted for this motherfucker. You feel me? Like, and if that don't do it, right? If the Hitler symbol wasn't enough for y'all, Pete Hexick is a goddamn skinhead.
Yo, Schaefrine has done the Hitler salute about 20 times in this show. I think that's why he put the gloves on, to get away with doing the Hitler salute so many times. Yo, have you seen how many times this man has done the Hitler salute in one show while complaining about somebody doing a Hitler salute? You can complain about the Hitler salute without doing the Hitler salute. Am I right or am I wrong? I believe it's absolutely possible. But your man, he wanted you to pay attention so much to his Hitler salute, he put on a fingerless glove. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Well, yeah. But but again, man, was that a Hitler salute? Was it? Was it really? I mean, I think that's debatable. I don't know of any Hitler salute that starts with "My heart goes out to you." I don't know of any. But again, my position is whether it is a Hitler salute or not, I don't care. I am more concerned with the executive orders and the positions they're taking. And none of them have a Hitler salute over them. None of them says Hitler anywhere. When y'all can, when Shafreen can get this animated about the executive orders, when I hear him get excited about the executive orders, okay, I'll pay attention. But some Hitler salute that he's done 15 times already in the past 2 minutes. No, I'm not gonna get all excited about that. I'm more excited about what people do, not what they say or what salutes they make. I could care less about all that. I'm more concerned about what are you putting in place.
Hey, right?
Yeah, I've
So
seen his stuff too.
yeah, a goddamn skinhead, bro. You feel me? So none of this. So
Wait, who did he say was a skinhead? Who's a skinhead?
right? If the Hitler symbol wasn't enough for y'all, Hexic, Pete Hexic is a goddamn skinhead, right?
Yeah,
Pete Hegseth is a skinhead? Wait, Pete Hegseth? Where did he get that from? Is that a fact? Is that a fact? Hold on. Hang on, man. Let me see something. Hang on. Let me look something up real quick. I just asked ChatGPT, is Pete Hegseth not a skinhead? ChatGPT, and we know your boy Shay Freen loves him some ChatGPT. Shay Freen loves ChatGPT. So let's see what ChatGPT said. Is Pete Hegseth a skinhead? It says no. It says no. Pete Hegseth is not a skinhead. He is a TV host, author, and former military police officer known for his. He's a military officer known for his work as a conservative commentator on Fox News. And pretty soon it'll say he's the new Secretary of Defense, I believe. Yeah. Skinhead typically refers to a subculture with various political affiliations, but it is often associated with extremist movements. There's no evidence or credible information linking Hegseth to that subculture. That's what do you call that? Slander, libel? Is that what that is? Can we call that slander and libel to be on here calling that man a skinhead with no credible information? Eh? Come on, man. Y'all need to cut it out. Like, like this is derangement syndrome at its peak. Just throwing around labels on people. Like, do y'all really think? Do people really think Shay Freen knows that Pete Hegseth is a skinhead? What the Congress confirmed him. The Congress, Shay Freen knows better than our senators in the Congress. Y'all need to really stop it, y'all. Y'all act like children.
So
seen his stuff too.
yeah, a goddamn skinhead, bro.
I got damn skinhead. Y'all need to really man alive. Like YouTube should be audited. YouTube should be audited and Like people just be talking anything they want to say, they just say, bro. Just some stupid shit. Why would you be saying this about this man? Right? Like you just want to say whatever. And for what? Because you mad that Trump won? Because you mad that the black woman didn't win? You mad that the person you voted for just because they black? You're mad that the person you voted for just because they are black, you mad that they lost. And now you're going to be calling people skinheads and Nazis just because you voted for someone just because they're black. You know, voting for someone just because of their skin, just because of their skin color, voting for someone just because of their skin color, that's Nazi behavior. That's skinhead behavior. So it doesn't surprise me that this man is doing the skinhead salute 20 times. Because he's behaving like a skinhead. He's voting for people just because they're black. He's a black skinhead. He's a black Nazi. This is skinhead Nazi behavior. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, the double standard, the contradictions is overwhelming. Like, this is like stupidity on fleek. This is stupidity 102. This man doing a class on how to say stupid things.
You feel me? So none of this. So, and then what's the other boy name? RFK is a goddamn anti-vaccine pseudo
Super duper wild.
Anti-vaccine. These boys is still on, yeah, man. Yeah, YouTube should be audited. And all these fools that was out here pushing the vaccine and pushing the mandates, and all of them should be fined, yo. All these channels that was pushing that shit, that was on that stupidity. And here he is on out RFK is anti-vaccine just because he was against the COVID vaccine. Y'all are wild, yo.
like
Yeah.
so.
Dangerous.
So in all of this, these guys can't say maybe I fucked up voting for Trump, right? They
Like, really, like, my man. The only reason you voted for Kamala is because she's black. You have to come to grips that maybe you fucked up voting for someone just because they're black. Like, you cannot be on a high horse. You cannot be on a high horse trying to tell people how to vote when your only reason for vote is the skin color of the person. That's retarded. Like, sit down and be quiet, bro, and just observe. Sit down, be quiet, observe, and be quiet some more. It's probably the best thing y'all can do.
They can't say it. Like all of this shit going on, motherfucker rounding up motherfucking Mexicans and shit. And these motherfuckers can't say, yo, I fucked up.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, we fucked up because they're rounding up Mexicans. Now all of a sudden, Mexicans are your priority. Now all of a sudden, you worried about Mexicans being deported? Mexicans have been deported for years. Wasn't Obama the chief, the deporter in chief? Ain't nobody deport more than Obama. Y'all didn't have nothing to say when he was still deporting Mexicans, right? How come it's when Trump is deporting Mexicans, it's a problem? Now all of a sudden y'all got the Mexicans back. Oh, the Mexicans. Now what are the Mexicans? Foundational Mexican Americans? FBA and the FMA, y'all linking up. Y'all making a coalition. All of a sudden you're pro-Mexico. You need to stop it.
You feel me? Putting a goddamn South African Nazi in charge of some made up shit called Doge. He don't got no credentials, and this motherfucker got all our social security numbers.
The South African Nazi got your social security number. Yo, your man is like wilding out. Your man is wilding out. A South African Nazi. This guy, the guy who voted for her because she's black, is concerned. Now wants you to be concerned that a South African Nazi has your social security number. The richest man in the world. The richest man in the world is going to take your social security number and and get a credit card on it. What you think you're gonna do with your credit card, Schaefer? With your social security number? Nobody's trying to mess with your social security number. Like, this is ridiculous. This is Trump derangement at its worst. This is Trump derangement. The cup of Trump derangement flowing over, like on fleek. Like, does this man think the government hasn't always had access to our social security number? Oh, it's just because it's Elon? Like, do you know which people have had access? Like, along with Elon, do you know who else has access to your social security number? Eh? This man really complaining that somebody in the government has access to his social security number when it's the government that issued him a social security number. Boy, man, they got access to your social security number. And what? And what? You just mad about what you think you're gonna do with it?
And tax information. But these niggas can't say that they might have fucked up by voting for Trump. They can't say it.
No, I tell you what. When you say you messed up, you effed up for voting for Kamala just because she's black, then we'll consider saying what you want us to say. But you got to first do a show saying I messed up voting for Kamala just because she's black. That was the stupidest mistake I could have ever made. And any other mistake could not be as bad as that. I don't care what any black person had, what reason any black person had for voting for Trump. I don't care what the reason was. It doesn't matter what the reason was because one thing I know, they didn't vote for Trump because he was white. That I know. So whatever reason any black person had for voting for Trump was more substantial than the reason that either Schaefrine or Logic voted for Kamala. I'm not sure about Logic, but I'm positively sure Schaefrine voted for Kamala just because she's black. You have no say, bro. You cannot say nothing. Check your reasoning first before you try to check somebody else's. That's ridiculous.
Like that shit is perplexing to me. But they can be serious and hold everybody else feet to the fire about being FBA or hip hop. But y'all can't even acknowledge that you fucked up with Trump. You feel me? Like we ain't going. Gas prices ain't go down. Eggs still high as a motherfucker. You feel me?
Right. Now I feel you on that. Eggs still high as a mother.
Gas prices ain't go down. Eggs still high. And you know what? Seeing y'all behave like this makes all of that okay. Seeing y'all behave like this over the fact that the black woman didn't win, seeing y'all lose your minds like this makes the fact that gas prices ain't go down, egg prices, that makes all of that still okay. Your behavior right now is worth it. And I can't be more serious. Say something when gas price starts going up, okay? Other than that, still, hush your mouths. Y'all sound ridiculous. Gas prices and eggs. Hush your mouths, please.
Motherfucker, dog. That's for real.
So why did y'all vote for him?
On the promises yet, right? But he didn't definitely started his look like he's kind of setting the stage a little bit for a lot more of this agenda 2025 stuff to kick off to me. might have originally led off of. You know, that's what it seems like to me. It definitely seemed like kind of what's looming in the background. You know, that's a big deal. What's up with you, Pan African James? What's happening?
Oh man, hold on. Let me get this.
Well, is it it? Well, if it is,
I can say if he's showing off his gloves. Yeah, I can't mess with Pan African James. That's about it, man. I wanted to just show that clip of that right there, man, because that was just out of pocket, bro. Ultimately, man, you cannot have voted the way you voted. You cannot have voted just because somebody's black and then, oh, I don't know why they voted for Trump. We know why you voted for Kamala, because she's black. And there is no more Nazi reason to vote for anyone than their skin color. There's no more skinhead reason to vote for someone than their skin color. So what are you talking about? What are you really talking about? Anyway, but yeah, let me stop sharing that and then find something else that I want to share. Let me set this up first before my- Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing this, and then let me which one is it? Is it this one? Yeah, let me share this one. All right, so the title of today's show is the FBA leader. The FBA leader says blacks are foundational to everywhere. Blacks are foundational to everywhere. And if y'all don't believe me, again, fair use disclaimer. I'm gonna play some clips, but it's just for educational use. It's for criticism. So this is a fair use disclaimer of these video clips. You know what I mean? I hope that suffices. I'm gonna have to do some research on whether or not I even have to be doing this when I'm playing people's videos. If I have to do a disclaimer for fair use, I should be allowed to use this in fairness. It's only fair. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I found I found a video with the FBA leader, Tariq Nasheed. And I know they say he's not their leader, but he's their leader. He would have to be their leader. He would have. And some people say the argument is being made that all FBA is like they don't understand why people have a problem with FBA because all it is a lineage. It just means that you have lineage. Your slave lineage is in America, and that's it. That's all it means. And so for that reason, I'm an FBA, right? If my slave lineage goes back to America, as Tariq says, 1870, right? They're using Tariq's definition, right? They're going back to when Tariq says it applies. You know what I'm saying? Because if that date changes, everything changes. If that date changes, some of the people that are FBA today may not be FBA if that date changes. But they're going by Tariq's definition, right? And that's what they're saying makes them FBA. Oh man, sometimes I should just say what I'm saying because it'd be like slipping my brain. Um, but yeah, if you're FBA, yeah, they think that to be FBA simply means you have heritage, you have slave ancestry in America, right? But that's not all FBA is. If you call yourself an FBA, when you call yourself an FBA, you're not just saying you have slave heritage in America. You're also saying that you are foundational to America. Right? You're calling yourself a foundational Black American. and you're accepting and promoting and validating the idea that slaves are foundational to America, right? And so for that reason, you're pseudo, right? And that's why there's something wrong, because you're not just saying that you have slave ancestry in America. Just me and a Black American said you had slave ancestry here. Whatever. Saying you're foundational Black America is saying you built America. That's what it means. And that's why we have a problem with it. It's you built America. You didn't build America. You didn't put in any more work into building America than anybody else did. Certainly not them white folks. Certainly not them. You know what I'm saying? And in my humble opinion, certainly not immigrants. You ain't put in more work than immigrants. And I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. Immigrants are more foundational to America than slaves or slavery. America got rid of slavery and started promoting immigration. That's what America is built on. But anyway, the idea of, FBA being foundational and that they built America is not a new idea. It's an idea that, and I don't want to say Black Americans, but because it's not just Black Americans, but Black people in general. But me, myself personally, I didn't become, open to these ideas. I didn't know of these ideas until I came to America. And when I go to Jamaica, nobody really talks. I don't really see the communities in Jamaica are non-existent really. But there are always Black Americans think they are the original Hebrews. They are the Hebrew Israelites, the Black Hebrews. They are the Black Moors. They are the Abels. They built according to them, they built all of these civilizations. They built the Hebrew Israelite civilization. They built the Abel indigenous civilization. They built the Moorish civilization. They built Europe. They actually think they built Europe. They built the Phoenician, like anything of value. FBA people think they built it. So it's not surprising that they think they built America as well. It's only right, because America is the greatest civilization in history. So of course they're going to claim that one. If they're claiming all the great civilizations, they are going to claim this one, and they're going to go full force for it. You know what I'm saying? Especially since they see that they have that slavery link to it. But it is what it is. So, but again, the idea is that they think they're foundational to everywhere. And I just want to share some clips that I found. Again, fair use. I'm going to share some clips that I found just with the FBA leader. Yep, he's your leader, saying some very interesting stuff. Let's hear this.
The original Phoenicians were, I think they were Black people. They were people who would be classified as Black today. Even over there in Europe, the original Europeans, the Grimaldi people, they were Black people too.
Sorry, Grimaldi? Could you spell that?
Grimaldi, the Grimaldi people. They were the original inhabitants of Europe up there. These were Black people with dreadlock hair. Over there in Ireland, in early Ireland, there were Black pygmies up there. There's a guy named David McRitchie, a white guy who wrote books in the 1800s who talked about this. He was a historian, and a lot of white people don't like to talk about his books. He wrote a book called Ancient and Modern Britons and talked about the early Black people who were in Britain and Ireland and all of those places. The original Phoenicians were, I think they were Black people. They were people who would be classified as Black today. Even over there in Europe, the original Europeans, the Grimaldi people, they were Black people too.
All right, y'all heard that, right? So it's the original Phoenicians. The Phoenicians were Black people, and the original Europeans were Black people, the Grimaldi. So let's just I'm just gonna do for the Grimaldi, right? Because I think he was focused in on the Grimaldi. So I did a quick Chat GPT ask of were the Grimaldi black people? Chat GPT says the Grimaldi people, often referenced in discussions of prehistoric Europe, were an ancient population whose remains were discovered in a cave near Monaco in the early 20th century. Some early anthropologists speculated that they might have had African or Negroid features, leading to theories that they were an early wave of dark-skinned people in Europe. However, modern anthropology and genetics have largely moved away from racialized interpretations of prehistoric populations. The Grimaldi people were likely part of the upper Paleolithic hunter-gatherer societies of Europe, possibly related to or overlapping with Cro-Magnons. There is no definitive evidence that they were what we would consider black in the modern racial sense, though early human populations, especially in warmer climates, may have had darker skin. Um, yeah, so, you know, could they have had darker skin? Sure. Would that make them black people as we know them to be today? No, no. So, the Phoenician, y'all can do y'all do your own research, man. Like the Phoenicians, I don't know if I would say the Phoenicians are black. I don't know if I would go that far. Um, so it's the Phoenicians were black and the Europeans. Let's see if he said anyone else. Or rather, let's see who else he said.
Sorry, Grinaldi. Could you spell that?
Grimaldi. The original Phoenicians were, I think they were black people. They were people who would be classified as black today. Even over there in Europe, the original Europeans, the Grimaldi people, they were black people too.
Sorry, Grinaldi. Could you spell that?
Grimaldi. The Grimaldi people. They were the original inhabitants of Europe up there. These were black people with dreadlock hair. Over there in Ireland, in early Ireland, there were black pygmies up there. There's a guy named David McRitchie, a white.
Black? Did he say black people with dreadlocked hair? The original Europeans were Jamaicans. Boy, from down by the beach. Boy. He said the original Europeans were Jamaican Rastas. That's what he said, right? That's what he said. That's what I heard.
Guy who wrote books in the 80s with dreadlock hair. Europe up there. These were black people with dreadlock hair. The original inhabitants of Europe up there. These were black people with dreadlock hair.
So y'all get that, right? So Jamaicans started hip hop and Jamaicans started Europe. These are facts. Take it up with your leader. I didn't say it. Your leader did. The FBA leader said it, not me. Take it up with him. Jamaicans is all over the place, yo. We are a special bunch of people.
Over there in Ireland, in early Ireland, there were black pygmies up there. There's a guy named David.
Oh wow, the Irish were black people. The original Irish were black people. Phoenicians, Europeans, Irish, black people, right? They built let's understand that when they're saying that these are black people, what they're saying is that black people built those civilizations. That's what's being said, and that's what I want you to keep in mind, because it's the same reason why they're saying they built America as well. They want to be the builders of everything. They want credit for building every great society for whatever reason. They want that credit, so they built everywhere, right? And it would be, I think their argument would be substantial if they weren't saying they built everywhere. If it was just America, maybe we would listen. But you want to claim everywhere and everything, man. So, we just realized that you're just trolling right now. You could not have built everywhere. You just couldn't. You're just trolling. So we're not going to take you seriously. Foundational Black Americans, we're not taking you seriously because you're also claiming to be foundational Black Phoenicians, foundational Black Europeans, foundational Black Irish, foundational Black Moors, foundational Black Abos, and now you're foundational Black Americans. You're just, it's just your is it a disorder? It's your disorder acting up. Every so often you claim great civilization, and so now your disorder is just acting up and you're claiming America.
David McRitchie, a white guy who wrote books in the 1800s who talked about this. He was a historian, and a lot of white people don't like to talk about his books. He wrote a book called Ancient and Modern Britons and talked about the early Black people who were in Britain and Ireland and all of those places.
So Britain as well. British. The British as well. Phoenicians, Europeans, Irish, and British. Did I miss anyone? No? Okay. All right, let's see who else, if he claimed anyone else. Let's see.
So does this mean, because obviously the Kohanim, like the Jews, were with the Phoenicians when they built Carthage? Does this mean the Jews were black?
Well, that's what the Nazis said. That's why that's the root of anti-Semitism. The root of anti-Semitism is anti-blackness. The reason why the dominant society had a problem with Jewish people is because they said they're not really white. They're really they're a race of Negroes. That's what Hitler said in Mein Kampf.
So according to the FBA leader, the original Jews that were in where was that, in Germany? Those were black people. The original Jews in Germany that Hitler was dealing with, that was a racial thing. So, those original Jews were black people. Not original Jews, maybe specifically he's talking about them Jews in Europe, the European Jews that were in Europe. So these are Jews, not the Hebrew Israelite, not the Israelites from back in the day. The Jews from Europe. He's saying those people are black people. So this is a separate. There are people who claim the ancient Israelites to be black as well. That's real too. But this claim being made is that the original Jews. I'm specifically using the word Jew to separate them from Israelites because I'm just trying to make the distinction. Not that I'm saying they're not the Israelites. I'm not that I'm saying that. I'm just making the description. Not that I'm not saying it either. I'm just making the distinction. All right. So, the European Jews that went through the Holocaust were originally black people, according to the FBA leader.
Referred to Jewish people as a Negroid race. And a lot of other writers in Europe would often refer to Jewish people as secret Negroes. That's why they had to kind of single them out so they couldn't sneak in black genes in Europe. Get a book by a white man called Hybrid Hate. Check that book out. He talks about the history of how anti-blackness and anti-Semitism goes hand in hand.
So does this mean, because obviously the...
All right, again. Well, you know what? Let me let that one play again and let it play all the way through so you hear it.
So does this mean, because obviously the Kohanim, like the Jews, were with the Phoenicians when they built Carthage. Does this mean the Jews were black?
Well, that's what the Nazis said. That's why that's the root of anti-Semitism. The root of anti-Semitism is anti-blackness. The reason why the dominant society had a problem with Jewish people is because they said they're not really white. They're really they're a race of Negroes. That's what Hitler said in Mein Kampf. He referred to Jewish people as a Negroid race. And a lot of other writers in Europe would often refer to Jewish people as secret Negroes. That's why they had to kind of single them out so they couldn't sneak in black genes in Europe. Get a book by a white man called I think it's called Hybrid Hate. Check that book out. He talks about the history of how anti-blackness and anti-Semitism goes hand in hand.
So does this?
All right. So the root of anti-Semitism is anti-blackness. So, you know, the Semites are black people. Okay? The Semites are black people as well. The root of anti-Semitism is anti-blackness. Then Semites are blacks. And whatever civilizations are Semitic, those are black civilizations. We built those. You know. So we claiming everything Semitic. Black people built that too. All right. See what else we built. Let's see if there's anything else. Look. Yep. There is something else. Let's do this one.
When the black Moors, because you mentioned the Berbers, many of the Berbers were black, and they were the Moors who went up into Europe. These were black people who went up there and saved the white supremacists, because the white supremacists were dying off in Europe because of the plagues and the Dark Ages. When the black Moors, because you mentioned the Berbers, many of the Berbers were black, and they were the Moors who went up into Europe. These were black people who went up there.
Many of the Berbers were black, and these were the Moors that went up into Europe. Right? So the black Moors, right? The black Moors. The Moors are black. Many of the Berbers are black. So we built that Moorish empire. We built that Berber empires, if whatever ones there exist. Well, of course there were. And in Libya, that was all us. Right? So the black Moors. So again, black people, as far as the FBA leader is concerned, black people are foundational black Moors as well. Let's hear him say it one more time.
When the black Moors, because you mentioned the Berbers, many of the Berbers were black, and they were the Moors who went up into Europe. These were black people who went up there and saved the white supremacists, because the white supremacists were dying off in Europe because of the plagues and the Dark Ages. When the black Moors, because you mentioned the Berbers, many of the Berbers were black, and they were the Moors who went up into Europe. These were black people.
Yep, those were black people. All great people, or all people we consider great people, are black people. One last one. Let's check out this one right here. I'm not gonna bore y'all. One last one. Let's see. What about the ancient Egyptians? Because I know y'all want to know if he said anything about the ancient.
Now the Egyptians call their land.
I don't know if he said it out his own mouth. I don't know. I know he had the movie. I think the movie Hidden Colors, where he had all the great hoteps were in this movie. And they were all saying the ancient Egyptians were black. So here's a nice little clip of one of our favorites in this community. I think this is Professor Jeffries, Dr. Jeffries, I think.
Now the Egyptians call their land Kemet, and they use a piece of charcoal, a burnt piece of wood as charcoal, to symbolize what they mean, the blackest black. And all of their carvings of themselves, they paint their skins dark brown or black. They have white paint, red paint, yellow paint, but they paint themselves blacks. How anyone in the world, with so much information available for the public to see, can even be under any illusions that the Egyptian was even light-skinned?
Just when you look at climate and weather, if you go to Egypt, you will notice that the weather is quite hot. And you will notice that it is almost impossible to be able to be outside dressed the way the carvings on the walls are as it relates to the people. Because you would get melanoma before we even knew melanoma existed. So they could not have been depigmented or less pigmented. They have to have been heavily pigmented.
And the Egyptian call their land.
All right. So again, that's not words out of his own mouth, but they are words out of his own movie. And you know, even on his website, I'm talking about the FBA leader. Even on his website, he has, Hotep gear. He sells Hotep gear. And, you know, black Egyptians, people who believe that Egypt were black, we call them Hoteps. Of course, they greet each other by saying Hotep, right? So, you know, the point is, FBA, Foundational Black Americans, are the same people that think they are foundational to everywhere, right? And this is an added reason as to why this whole idea is so pseudo. This whole foundational Black American idea is a pseudo idea for a bunch of reasons, for a whole bunch of reasons, right? And one of the main reasons is the fact that it's just a new version of this idea of Black Egypt. It's a new version of the Black Moors. It's a new version of the Black Phoenicians, the Black Abos, the Black everyone. It's the foundational Black Americans is just that, claiming they built America, because that's what makes them pseudo. It's not the fact that they're claiming that they have ancestry in America, they have slave ancestry in America, is meaningless. It has nobody objects to that at all. We know that for a fact. I know I don't have slave ancestry in America, so I know I'm not FBA. And I know that there are people here who have slave ancestry in America. I get that, and I know that for that reason, whatever that means, right? We're different, whatever that means. But that's not what makes someone who claims to be FBA, FBA. What makes you FBA is this idea, is the thought in your head that you built America. Right? So if you go around saying you're FBA, what you're really doing is going around saying you built America. And if you want to go around saying you built America, I'm going to call you pseudo. You're a FB pseudo. And that's plain as day. And you cannot separate. You can't say, oh, he's not my leader, but I'm foundational. What do you mean by foundation? When you say you're foundational, what does that mean? Because when you say you're FBA, what you're really saying, the Black American part is the least significant piece. It's the foundational piece. What do you mean when you say you're foundational? It's not that just that you have slave ancestry. That's not what you're saying. What you're saying is you built America. And you built America as an FBA built America in exactly the same way that that Black people built Egypt. FBA built America in the same way that Black people are the Abos. FBA built America in the same way that, according to their leader, Black people built Europe. And that's the objection that people are having. And that's a meaningful objection, because again, it points to this, what can only be seen as some type of a mental disorder. Like the fact that you want to be the creator of anything of substance is kind of nutsy. And it's something that should be addressed. It can't just be brushed aside. Why? Because stuff like this is going to happen. Because stuff like this is going to happen. Here you are now claiming to be, because you're not just claiming to be foundational. Now you're trying to piss on everybody else. And so we gotta sit you down and be like, buddy, you're kind of running with a disorder right now. Can't just go around pissing everywhere. This is a reflection of your disorder. The fact that you want to piss and shit on everybody else. You have a potty mouth, like it, but it's all a part of your disorder of trying to claim everything and everywhere. And that's just really what it is. FBA built America like black people were the Phoenicians. FBA built America that like black people are the original Irish, according to their FBA. And this is according to their own leader. So I'm not making this up. This is according to their own leader. You know? But it is what it is, man. I'm sure y'all see the link in the chat. I'm sure if somebody wanted to say something, they would have came up and said it, or at least written it in the chat. You know what I mean? But that's pretty much, that's the idea. And that's just one new addition to the reasons, to the many reasons why FBA is pseudo. And FBA is a pseudo idea. And if you claim to be FBA, you just put yourself in a pseudo bucket. When you claim to be FBA, you just threw yourself into the bucket that you used to make fun of your leader for being in. Imagine everything we know about Tariq is pseudo. All the ideas we just heard him talk about are ideas that are plain as day pseudo. And for some reason, the people that were calling him pseudo for those ideas, for some reason now don't think his FBA idea is pseudo. For some reason, they think, oh, this FBA idea has merit. He's pseudo only when he talks about other things. But when he's talking about me, he's not pseudo. Why not? Because he's talking about me. And I'm special. I want to be special. So he can't be pseudo if he's saying I'm special. I know. You're special. You're special indeed. You're special indeed. And we know you have a special disorder. You have a special disorder. And it should be addressed. You know what I mean? You can't just go around claiming stuff. You can't just go around claiming stuff you ain't created. That's nutsy. That's madness. You heard? But I've said enough. I've said what I wanted to say. If you haven't done so, man, hit that like button if you haven't done so, and subscribe, please. Share the video too. Share the video to your favorite Discord. You know what I mean? You want to do it. Share the video. Share the channel to your favorite groups. Share the channel, because we're gonna keep it moving. We on their heads. We are on their heads. It takes an American dream to be on the head of the woke. You heard? Is that a bar? Is that a bar? I'm the American dream, and I'm on the heads of the woke. You heard that. I'm glad y'all heard that. But again, the link is in the chat, man. The link is in the chat, man. Don't be scared to hit that link. Come talk to me. Come talk about the weather. There's a snowstorm coming. It's Super Bowl weekend. Are y'all boycotting the Super Bowl? Are y'all boycotting the Super Bowl? Imagine. Black national anthem. It don't get no more Nazi than that. Black national anthem at the Super Bowl. Why? Why? Why y'all want to have a black national anthem at the Super Bowl, but you complaining about a so-called Nazi salute? I want y'all to really think about which one is more divisive. I want y'all to really think about that. You know, don't hurt yourselves while y'all do. But yeah, man, the link is pinned. I'm gonna be here for a few minutes. The link is pinned. Holla at your boy. The link is pinned.
Recognize royalty, recognize it, recognize royalty, gotta recognize it, recognize royalty, like they ain't got eyes to recognize royalty.
I can feel,
Recognize royalty,
I can see.
recognize royalty,
Now I recognize
royalty,
royalty's eyes.
royalty,
I can see,
recognize royalty,
I can love
recognize
again.
royalty,
Now I
recognize it.
royalty,
I recognize
royalty.
passion. Never just a man with the title in his hand, with the vital in his hand, with the Bible in his hand. Never just a man with the scepter in demand, with the lecture in the stand, with the vector and the candle. Can you understand the grand? From the texture of the hand, hard at work. Are you hard at work, working with the man? Don't kiss the ring of royalty. Crown him king, just a thing, letting loyalty ring. Bring frankincense and myrrh and other things. It's gold already blings from the eyes that prizes no sins. Recognize the kings overruling commandments with the Trinity and the power it brings. When you recognize royalty, I feel it.
I can see you.
Yeah, I see it.
Now
I recognize now.
royalty's eyes.
Royalty,
I can see you.
I see it.
I can love again.
And I'm in love now. I recognize your passion.
Royalty.
Recognize royalty, sunrise royally, sitting on top of the world, I'm five morally, status of a king for surely. Morally, we pop dumb things till we stop the impurity. We pop them just for recognition. Listen to the missionary on a mission with the visionary vision. Do you recognize intuition? I reel in men when I went out fishing. I'll tell you why they rocked the boat. Cause they didn't understand what the prophet wrote. What's the conniption? Choose the Jews' crucifixion and refuse recognition at Sunchild's christening in the mix amid some. Insist they fix the system from malarkey back to my monarchy. Yeah, back above me. Don't soil my purple and blue, and I will recognize your royalty too.
I can feel you.
I feel it.
I can see you.
I can see it.
Now I recognize
I recognize now
royalty's eyes.
your royalty.
I can see you.
I see it.
I can love again.
And I'm in love now.
Now
I recognize your passion.
royalty.
Royalty.
Oh yeah. Before I forget, man. Shout out to Sunchild, big up yourself. You don't know. If y'all like them Sunchild tunes, man. There's a link in the description. There's a link in the description if y'all want to download that Recognize Royalty joint. Word up. In the description there's a link to Sunchild's banger. You know. Again, Sunchild, big up yourself, yo. Yeah, man. So again, the link is pinned. So I'm gonna, let this thingy right here.
Recognize royalty. Recognize it. Recognize royalty. Gotta recognize it. Recognize royalty. Like they ain't got eyes to recognize royalty.
I can feel.
Recognize royalty.
I can see.
Recognize royalty.
Now I recognize
Royalty.
royalty's eyes.
Royalty.
I can see.
Recognize royalty.
I can love
Recognize
again.
royalty.
Now
I recognize it. I recognize passion. Never just a man with the title in his hand, with the vital in his hand, with the Bible in his hand. Never just a man with the scepter in demand, with the lecture in the stand, with the vector and the candle. Can you understand the grand? From the texture of the hand, hard at work. Are you hard at work, working with the man? Don't kiss the ring of royalty. crown him king, just a thing, letting loyalty ring. Bring frankincense and myrrh and other things. It's gold already blings from the highest that prizes no sins. Recognize your kings overruling commandments with the Trinity and the power it brings. When you recognize royalty, I feel it.
I can see you.
Yeah, I see it.
Now
I recognize now. Royalty.
I can see you.
I see it.
I can love again.
Now I'm in love now. I recognize your passion.
Royalty.
Yeah, once again, the link to that download is in the description. The link to the recognize royalty. The link is in the description. Word up.
Recognize royalty, sunrise royally, sitting on top of the world, I'm five morally, status of a king for surely. Orally we pop dumb things till we stop the impurity. We pop them just for recognition. Listen to the missionary on a mission with the visionary vision. Do you recognize intuition? I reel in men when I went out fishing. I'll tell you why they rocked the boat, cause they didn't understand what the prophet wrote. What's the conniption? Choose the Jews' crucifixion and refuse recognition at son child's christening. In the mix, I'm in some. Insist they fix the system from malarkey back to my monarchy. Yeah, back above me. Don't soil my purple and blue, and I will recognize your royalty too.
I can feel you.
I feel it.
I can see you.
I can see it.
Now
I recognize now.
royal to these eyes.
It's your royalty.
I can see you.
I see it.
I can love again.
And I'm in love now.
Now
I recognize your passion.
royalty.
Royalty.
Wait, nobody hit the link? Wait, nobody still ain't hit the link? Oh, okay. You know what that means, right? That means I win. Everything I said was true. Nobody hit the link. Everything I said was true. Nah. It's me. It's me. I win. Okay. All right. I'm gonna give y'all one more shot. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give y'all one more go at it. All right, man. All right. Rock it one more time. Why not? Why not? It's a banger. Why not?
Recognize royalty, recognize it, recognize royalty, gotta recognize it, recognize royalty, like they ain't got eyes to recognize royalty.
I can feel.
Recognize royalty,
I can see.
recognize royalty,
Now I recognize
royalty,
royal to these eyes.
royalty,
I can see.
recognize royalty,
I can love
recognize
again.
royalty,
Now I
recognize it, I recognize it.
Y'all just gonna give me the win like that? Y'all just gonna give me the win? Nobody gonna hit the link? Dang it. Man, y'all some scaredy cats, yo. Y'all some scaredy cats out there. I understand. I understand. If I were you, I'd be scared too.
Never just the man with the title in his hand, with the vital in his hand, with the Bible in his hand. You never just the man with the scepter in demand, with the lecture in the stand, with the vector and the candle. Can you understand the grand from the texture of the hand? Hard at work, are you hard at work, working with the man? Don't kiss the ring of royalty. crown him king, just a thing, letting loyalty ring. Bring frankincense and myrrh and other things. As gold already blings from the highest that prizes no sins. Recognizing kings overruling commandments with the Trinity and the power it brings. When you recognize royalty, I feel it. Yeah, I see it. I recognize now. Royalty. I see it. Now I'm in love now. I recognize your passion. Recognize royalty. Sunrise royally. Sitting on top of the world. I'm five morally. Status of a king for surely. Morally, we pop dumb things till we stop the impurity. We pop them just for recognition. Listen to the missionary on a mission with the visionary vision. Do you recognize intuition? I reel in men when I went out fishing. I'll tell you why they rocked the boat. Cause they didn't understand what the prophet wrote. What's the conniption? Choose the Jews' crucifixion and refuse recognition at son child's christening in the mix amid some. Insist they fix the system from malarkey back to my monarchy. Yeah, back above me. Don't soil my purple and blue, and I will recognize your royalty too.
I can feel you.
I feel it.
I can see you.
I can see it.
Now
I recognize now.
Royal to these eyes.
Your royalty.
I can see you.
I see it.
I can love again.
And I'm in love now.
Now
I recognize your passion.
Royalty.
Royalty.
All right, y'all. All right, I'm gonna call it a day. That's about it. You heard. So once again, please hit the like, subscribe, hit notification. That would be nice. That would be nice if you're here whenever we go live. And then you'll be you'll hit the link. Yeah. My contact is AmericanDreamerGuy@gmail.com. Holler at me. And what else? Cash App is American Dream is alive. Holler at me. And yeah, that's about it, man. Thanks for your attention. It's been a blessing. Enjoy the rest of this weekend. And remember, we boycotting the Super Bowl. We boycotting the Super Bowl. It's either just the national anthem or no Super Bowl. You hear me? Who's with me? Drop a 1 in the chat if you with me. Drop a 1 in the chat. No, we don't. That's all we need is the real national anthem, the nation's anthem. We don't need that other one. We don't need that other Nazi anthem. All right? All right, y'all. Blessings. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Be good.
Recognize royalty. Sunrise royally. Sitting on top of the world. I'm five morally. Status of a king for surely.